What's up, everyone? Thank you for tapping in today, and we're back with our 5th episode of My Jiu Jitsu Academia, and I'm JaySin Matlock.
DJ.
And Trevor Reyna.
Trevor Reyna is our guest today, and this is my man from another land.
Way back.
Way back. So, Trevor, tell us a little about yourself, where you come from, how you started Jiu Jitsu, and what you're doing.
Yeah. So, long story short, I started Jiu Jitsu November 2020. Around there, really just walked in because one of my buddies, when I used to work at Panera, basically told me, "Hey, you should try Jiu Jitsu," and I was like, "I'm good. I've done Muay Thai before, so I saw like the people, like the jiu-jitsu people just doing shrimping and stuff like that, and I was like, I'm good with that." And then another person at Panera said like, "Hey, you should go do jiu-jitsu at this one place that this other guy also told me to go to." And I was like, okay, fine, try it out, see what's up with it, and then just fell in love. Honestly, started training like once or twice a week, and then by maybe a month in, I was training like 4 times a week roughly.
Okay.
Yeah, so from there on out, I was maybe I can make a career out of this, and then just send it.
Man, it's funny. I didn't know your journeys and my journey started around about the same time.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah, I thought you had kind of been like doing it for a minute.
No, it'll be right after Thanksgiving. It'll be 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so not too long.
Dope.
So like you got in and right away, like within a month, you were like, I want to start going for tournaments and making a career out of it.
Oh, dude, not even that. I was like, so maybe I would say maybe 3 months in, I did my first tournament. I remember that was a rough one. I honestly, in my white belt days, I probably lost every single tournament like here is. Yeah, so that was rough. Like being a white belt, I probably lost just about everything up until the end. So I remember my first tournament. The first one was basically, we went in there, coach told me I need to be as light as possible, as strong as possible. So I went from like 145 to 120. And I was like, I'll just be in the lightest weight class. And then right when I went there, everyone wasn't too worried. And I was like the only one worried. I was like, what's going on here? And then we walked in. There was like a class going on before this tournament. And next thing I find out is they're just doing the honor system. Okay. And I was like, Coach, what's the honor system? He's like, oh, you just tell them what weight you are. And that's it. And I was like, what do you mean? And then next thing I know, with the honor system, I got this guy who's like 5'11", probably like 160, absolutely jacked. And he's looking at me and I'm like, this guy's 120? Okay, let's go. Next thing you know, try to go for a double leg that this coach showed me and then went flying. Okay. And then after that moment, I just kept on pulling guards since.
Okay.
So there's honor system, and then like you're looking. You said this dude's like what, 5'11", 165.
I was like, not only is this guy taller than me, but he's bigger than me too.
Honor system. That's baloney, bro. That's
I know. Funny. It was hilarious. It was actually at Tillis Jiu Jitsu.
Really? Okay.
Long time ago.
I need to check them out there. I think I competed against someone who was there, and I need to go out and train with them. I keep telling them.
Oh man, it's a fun gym. Okay. Yeah, good people. Tillis is great. Head instructor there is good.
What's his name?
Pretty sure it's Tillis, but I could be completely wrong.
Oh, okay.
Never asked for his
name. Where is this?
It's in like kind of like Fullerton area. Okay. Like it's on. I would say it's like on the edge of Fullerton and Orange.
It's like in a shopping center, right?
It's in a shopping.
It's in a shopping center, like in the. Okay,
yeah. Like right by the railroad.
Yeah, I know exactly where it's at.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and then you said in like at the beginning you struggled in tournaments. When did you like see that change? Like.
It was actually I'm pretty sure it was one of Klepper's, what was this tournament that he does all the time? Like, Copa.
The Copa, not the
Yeah. So it was Copa. And long story short, I was a white belt. And they didn't have anyone in my division. So they threw me up in weight. And from there, I just lost the first match. And I was like, okay, what do I do now? I got knocked out. And then next thing you know, I got thrown into another weight category. And I was like, okay, I guess we're going again. And then I ended up, after that moment, basically, landed.
Yeah,
basically told me, essentially, get my shit together. Just play your game. And then that moment, something clicked, and I just went through that whole division. Club got pissed, threw one of his blue belts at me, and then beat him. and then I ended up getting double gold. So and white and blue as a white belt, losing every single match since, or every single match prior.
That's awesome.
And I was like, okay, this makes sense now.
That's awesome. That's an origin story right there.
Yeah, it was a rough one, man. White belt sucked. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like what do you think the worst moment of your white belt journey was?
oh man,
Wait, real quick, what belt are you now? Did you get promoted? Have
no,
you?
I'm in blue belt.
Okay, you still blue with okay,
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah, it's just one of those. Honestly, probably what it was is just I've been moving a lot, so I've just been gym hopping. Is really the
Same.
Yeah, so that's a real rough one. It's like there comes a moment where you're just like, okay, I'm not sure what belt I am, but as long as like you really just enjoy the journey, especially now, like you can really just sign up for like if you want to do advanced division, do advanced division.
Yeah.
Hell, like I've seen whites and blues going in advance, so why not? Yeah, so that's really what it is. It's like kind of like a measure of not really even I would say even like with belt colors, it's not really even a measure of how good you are. It's more of a measure of like I would say like skill acquisition is the best way to explain it, because like you can have an athletic blue belt beat a black belt any day of the week just with pure athleticism.
Yeah.
But if he does the same thing over a course of time, like he's only gonna do this. It's like kind of like Nicky Rod, just got a body lock. Like so, like you can't really promote someone even if they're good or not, and what they can do is unstoppable. It's just about, I feel like purely it's about skill acquisition in terms of belt color,
Okay.
rather than skills,
I can respect that.
like athleticism in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I kind of
agree.
look. I'm not a professor yet or a coach, but I kind of feel the same way as far as like the skill acquisition. That's my whole story, is how much skill can I acquire in as little amount of time as possible by just training, working hard and just sticking to the basics,
Yeah. I would say like there's really truly just like a finite amount of techniques that you can truly do, and it's just really about understanding what they as your opponent is giving you and picking the best tool for the job, and also like the best tool for the job in terms of how you like pair techniques together is the best way to explain it. Like understanding his plan of inside and outside position as well as yours.
Okay.
It's the best way to explain it.
Do you watch a lot of film on your opponents? Like if you're able to see like the bracket before?
Oh no, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, like I feel like especially if you're going into like let's say if you got like 60 people in your division, like there's no reason. Like it's just there's no way that you're gonna remember everything. Like it's different if it's like a super fight. You got like one person, but other than that, I really don't think you should worry about it unless like there are like people you're gonna run into. Is the best way to explain it.
It's funny because so I haven't done like any like super big tournaments, but in most tournaments, like in my weight division or like the ultra heavies, you rarely get more than like 10 guys to hear you say 60.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's at the Open.
So at the Open, I probably had like 45 people, 45 to 50. It was a good amount. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially like in like I'm at like the bottom of the bell curve, like bottom middle of the bell curve. You're gonna have a good amount of people, especially like in the anywhere between like 65 up until like 85 kilos.
Okay.
Right around there. So like 140 to like 195. You're gonna have a good amount of people there. So yeah, with IBJJF, ADCC, I would say it's always worth even like on a money value, ADCC is so much like more affordable to even try, because even if you get knocked out, it's just knocked down the first round, it's just $100.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's definitely worth it versus IBJJF where you're spending $250, $300 for the same result, ending up in some random city somewhere if you're doing an Open or something like that versus like, ADCC in general. I feel like ADCC is just more money put into it to have fun, essentially.
Yeah, and it looks fun. I mean, I don't know if I really enjoy the announcers. I'm gonna be real with you. That announcer is wild. It's not my vibe.
I think they were just trying to pull like the Pride Days kind of vibe. And
they can leave it there. Pride was amazing for its time. I go back and watch their videos all the time. Let's leave it there.
I feel you. And with the whole like How'd you feel about Bruce Buffer being the announcer at the end?
I thought that was cool, but could we have had him the whole time? I mean, we can't afford him the whole time.
No, so what happened, it was actually a funny story. He was actually like doing an announcement at like, I think a football game like right before. So that's why I'm not sure if he went to ADCC, but they ended up going like 2 hours like behind schedule. Because they were just waiting for Bruce Buffer to get into the place from, I think he was actually like doing the announcement
at the Raiders
at the Raiders game. Yeah,
because that was in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah, so they literally just drove from one side to the other.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
okay. Well, maybe that next time.
Hopefully they book it faster.
I gotta disagree with you. Don't have Bruce Buffer announce one of my matches. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy.
Get stuck in the limelight.
Yeah, man. There could be 10 people in that gym, and I'm gonna feel like I'm getting ready to fight for the belt.
It's wild. Like, he's dope that he'll like let normal people pay him to like come and do like an announcement at their weddings. I think I heard he broke up with somebody or something.
Yeah, I've seen that. It was on one of those like apps where you can get shout outs from celebrities, and this guy paid him to, or like this girl paid him to like break up with her boyfriend or something like that.
Yeah. Bruce Buffer is a dope dude to do some shit like that.
I mean, it's not the worst way to get broken up with, so.
I guess it would be like, I guess if you were two gay guys and were into UFC, it would be the worst way. But we all know girls aren't really into UFC like that, so it's like, and it's I guess maybe it's injury to insoles, like, and you broke up with me like that. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Now that I think about it.
That depends on how you look at it, because I look at it as an opportunity. I'm going to be like, hey, bro, check this video out. Check this video. I know he's saying I'm a scumbag, but still, Bruce Buffer said I'm a scumbag.
I don't know. Like, I feel like in the moment, it's a good enough way to like get stuck in the limelight of seeing like, oh shit, there's Bruce Buffer, to where she could make like a good entry or a good exit.
Is there a good way to break up? Have you ever broken up with someone, and what's the best and worst way you've done it?
Okay,
if it's too loaded, we don't even gotta go there. But
oh no, this is like a throwback. So back in before time, I'm not sure if you know who I'm talking to. People probably know. I probably said this story a lot, but there was this one girl I dated who was a Scientologist, and like, okay, dude, she was like batshit crazy, and. This is like living in my Pasadena days, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't even know she was a Scientologist. I found out, went to her dad's office. I was like, oh, who's this prestigious gentleman just like wearing his admiral outfit? And they just, I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, it's Elron, and I'm like, as if like it's like a household name. And I'm like, who's Elron? And she's like, oh, L. Ron Hubbard. And I was like, no way. And I started laughing, and she looked at me, and I was like, oh, you're serious? Like, and this was like a month in, so I didn't know any better. So, but long story short, after that, like it was just getting worse and worse and worse. It was coming to the point where I started to realize that she was something else. Like, she worked for PETA. She was giving
those vibes.
She was giving me bad vibes, but it was like one of those where I was like, okay, well, I have to get her to break up with me because I don't know if I'll have all my tires after this situation. Oh, yeah, okay. So. I'm not sure if that's the best or worst way to do it, but that is a way. So I was just like trying to find a way just to not necessarily be a shitty human being, but like be enough to where her thinking like, maybe this is not working out. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Maybe we're just like two different people and stuff like that. But I was one of those definitely like bullet dodging situations.
Yeah, I respect that. No, I mean, I don't respect that because I say I respect it because I've been there and done it before.
Yeah. But do we learn?
I like to think I have. I think
I would like to think so too.
Yes. I learned.
I would say I learned. I think well, not exactly. I think back to a situation I had with this girl who I was dating recently before I met my current partner. And she called me and she was like, I don't think this is gonna work. And I was like, okay. She was like, well, what do we do? I was like, what, do you want to be friends? She was like, yeah. I was like, okay. What does that look like for you? She's like, I don't know. I was like, okay. She was like, this is weird. I was like, do you want me to fight for you? Like, what are you looking for here?
I just want you to do something.
Yeah. And I knew I had done exactly what you said. I'd done kind of like just been whatever.
Yeah.
Just to be like, to make myself feel like I'm not a bad person. but also I'm too afraid to actually say, hey, I really don't want to be with you. And so when it came down to it, I felt like how I learned was instead of being that person that tried to continue the relationship to be like, oh no, I'm not, or like try to be like, no, let's figure it out, or just to keep hooking up or whatever. I was like, no, look, I'm not gonna fight for you. You're right. This isn't the right fit. We're not looking for the right thing. If you want to be friends, let's do it. But if not, I understand. And I kept it moving.
I'm assuming that wasn't the right answer for her.
No, it wasn't.
No. If you tell them you're not going to fight, that's fighting words right there.
Something I learned: no can mean yes, can mean maybe. It could be I don't want to talk to you, or why am I not talking to you?
Exactly.
It's a rough one.
Me personally, this isn't working out would have been like, all right, well, click. I'm going back to doing my thing.
Hey, one of my red flags is once I start seeing messages get a little bit too long, I'm like, damn, I'm just going to delete it. So, it's bad, but like at least one of us is just angry versus both of us. That's how I see it. If it's something that's like, if it's something that's actually worth its salt to like say, like she's going to call me or talk to me about it, but usually they forget about it.
That's funny. So have you ever ran into like an issue while dating where they don't like your jiu-jitsu necessarily, like how much dedication you have for it?
Yes. It was one of those where it was like, she was fine with it in the beginning, but it just slowly over time became that she wasn't, because it was like one of those, like, I'm pretty like upfront and I'm like, look, I train 3 times a day at least. And I'm like, this is basically my life. And she's like, cool, that's fine. And just over time, just all those like, why do you train like this often when, like, in a nutshell, that she was like saying like, why do you train this often when you feel like you're getting better, but like you're not quite to the top and stuff like that. It's like,
that's hater.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, why don't you have a life outside of it, essentially?
It's crazy that she just kind of like shot your dreams down.
Yeah, but it's just one of those, like, I understand, like, it is what it is, and like I do spend a lot of time, but like it just comes down to like she was just looking for someone else that had more free time, I guess is the best way to explain it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that you stuck to your guns, but like what is your schedule like?
So right now, I train every day, Tuesday through Thursday, train at 11, 5, 7. Then Monday and Friday, same thing, more or less, except for Mondays at a 6 a.m. And then Fridays, I train at 6 and 8.
Okay. Yeah. That used to be my schedule when I first started, like before I went to Brazil, when I came back for a little bit. But you already left Lyon by the time I came back from Brazil. Yeah, so I moved. I basically moved for work because I was going to El Segundo, Seal Beach at the same time, and it was just hard to like live in Seal Beach and then drive all the way over there. I just wanted to be in a place where like the freeways kind of cross, so I can pick either side. So I was fine with that. Yeah. So yeah, that was basically what it is. And then my lease ended, and it was just a weird situation. And the like Long Beach Signal Hill is just kind of weird with. It's a weird area. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I kind of ran into the same situation. I was back and forth from like Paris. Okay. To like from Paris to Los Alamitos every day, trying to do 2 a days, helping out the kids' class, and like also having to take care of my own personal responsibilities. Is like, man, this is a lot. And go ahead.
So I work out there, bro. That's like 40. That's like a 40-mile difference. Yeah. That's crazy. That's great. That's dedication right there. I would. Yeah.
So yeah, I was just with Leon. I was still going there even though after I moved, but it was just becoming like, okay, well, with my work schedule and everything, I was only able to train like once, like not even once a day. Like, yeah. So I was like, it's just, it sucks, but it was just one of those, like, it is what it is. I need to find like a school that like helps with my schedule. So I jumped around a bit. Then I found Tempe Fullerton, or just the Tempe OC area, and then the offer, even though like it's hard to say, but I'm 50-50 gi and no gi. I would actually probably say lean gi more right now.
Interesting.
But there's just a lot of things that like just specifically just the 10th Planet Orange County area in general. they offer a lot of intangibles that like they offer great technique, but there's just a lot of intangibles that like you didn't realize that you needed that they provided.
I'm not really familiar with them. I do pay them $5 every month. I think I texted you this. I signed up because I'm very big. We've talked about the probably nausea at this point on digital learning and acquiring skills from everywhere.
Yeah.
So I've been paying for their little digital service $5 every month, but I haven't been using it for like since 2020. Like,
honestly, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, every month it's like $4.99 hit you. I was like, what is it? Oh, man, I should cancel that. Or I should log in. I never did. So Eddie Bravo, what's up, man? What's up, man? Making free money off me, bro.
He said, "I'm gonna keep doing it too."
Yeah, no, I respect. I respect the game, man. Look, I understand. Like, I've heard his story enough to know that he's come from a very poor background. I come from a very poor background. I respect the hustle. I respect the game. I respect what he's done. I respect that through the face of everyone telling him, no, you can't do it. And he's like, nah, bitches, I'm going to do it my fucking way. And I'm going to do me. Fuck everybody.
And what it is, like with 10th Planet that I truly love is that they're very open and very inviting. And that's like one thing that you can go from like any 10th Planet here all the way to like Florida or where have you. You're always going to be an inviting school, like regardless of where you're from. So that's one thing I do enjoy about 10th Planet versus like a lot of other gyms that are very like closed door approach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And it's funny because so I've been to a lot of gyms too.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I've noticed is like I've never trained 10th Planet, but the people I meet from 10th Planet are like, we just love jiu-jitsu and we love everybody, and they're all like having like good times. But when you go to these other gyms, they're like, 10th Planet.
I like truly believe that like the best schools are the very open door policy schools. Like even like Mendez Bros with AOJ, like they're very open door policy also. Like anyone really can walk in as long as, you know, you wear your white gi with your black rash guard and stuff like that. Yeah, but I mean, they're very open. They don't care what school you go to. It's like even with Autos, B team, when I went to B team, same exact thing. Like it's just a lot of just skills just coming in and just people just dropping them off and then you leaving with some too. I think I'm just not a fan of when schools close their doors is the best way to explain it.
Yeah, no, big facts. I agree with that.
And I feel like with that, you just kind of lose a lot of what is jiu-jitsu in a nutshell.
And at the end of the day, let's just be real about it. I don't care that I'm a blue belt or not. That's ego. And we're supposed to be checking our egos as we progress on this martial arts journey. And if you're going to not let another student back because for whatever reason he's honest or she's honest enough to say, hey, this isn't the right fit for me, but I do got love for you. Yeah. But shun them and kick them out. Yeah. Eat a bag of dicks.
Yeah, it's just one of those it's just rough situations. Yeah.
I've seen it a lot where like someone will leave and if they like try and come back for an open mat, people are just kind of like,
oh, you feel like the weirdness in the air. There's something in the air that's not quite right.
Yeah, and it's like you can't necessarily offer everything to one person because everyone has different needs. You know? Yeah. So like if they find a gym that fits them better, like okay, but like collectively as a group, like as us as practitioners, we're supposed to support everyone getting better because that's what's best for the sport moving forward.
The martial art. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I agree. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I like about A-Side. I feel like, you know, Armand's cool with people training at their gyms. I know we have other people that come in on a consistent basis from other gyms. Like, go train wherever. Like, he's, you know, go explore, but be loyal. And, you know, I respect that. Like, and I'm a loyal person to the core. Like, I'm still loyal to Coach Bill at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, same.
Unfortunately, my scenario at the time, which is like I said, I was commuting, ended up round trip like 4 hours every day. Yeah. It's a 4-hour commute every fucking day.
No, that was with me. It was like when I left, like when I would leave work and stuff like that, just to get my clothes and come back. It's like 90 minutes every day. And
in the car.
Yeah. In the LA traffic.
That's what made it was only like 20 miles, but it was 45 minutes one way.
And I literally had the fucking road try to kill me. Yeah. No, you saw the photo, right? DJ, I don't know if we were friends at the time. So I'm commuting back and forth and I'm driving down the highway and I would say a chunk of road like this size, concrete, maybe this thick, right? But like a chunk of road this size came up, just hit the front of my car, just took it out. Just like got totaled by insurance and everything. I was so fucking mad.
Wait, like, so you're driving and like something threw this piece of concrete into your car? Did it fall off or something?
I think what I saw was the tires from the truck in front of me had kicked the concrete up, like it was probably loose gravel.
Yeah.
And it kicked up, and when it kicked up, it was like either like slam on my brakes. We're all going like 70 miles per hour. Slam on my brakes into the car behind me and cause an accident, or take this thing head on. So I decided to take it head on.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's what. Look,
LA traffic.
I would have sued the city.
I do have a camera in my car now, so I can prove something. Like, how do you prove that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you prove that?
There's a chunk-sized hole in my car from where the concrete kicked up. Bro.
Nah, that's why I got a camera in my car. If this ever happens again, so get it. Anyone who doesn't have a camera in their car just to record it, I think like nowadays it's a safety thing. You should have one. It's $50-$60, less than $100 on Amazon.
Exactly.
Get you some shit. Protect yourself.
And if you're ever like out in trouble,
can you get closer to the mic?
If you're ever like in trouble, it sounds weird, but run towards the nearest Tesla. They have those 360 cameras on at all times.
I didn't even
That's
think about
actually really
that.
smart.
Yeah, I think we're about to get into like your ADCC journey, like
Oh yeah. So right now, waiting for right now I'm getting ready for Nogi Worlds coming up in 3 weeks. Got roughly like 7-8 more pounds to cut.
Mm-hmm.
Not too bad. I'm gonna do that in Vegas. I think it's December 6th or 7th.
Okay. I still haven't cleared that with the girl. If I can come out.
Oh, it's fine. It's just there regardless.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be there that Wednesday night, Thursday morning.
Okay.
So I think we're the first people to go. So if that's the case, probably like 10, 11 a.m.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's coming up. I'm waiting for them to announce South American trials if they haven't yet already when this podcast comes out. But right now they haven't. And then West Coast trials. Hopefully I'm just really just trying to see how far I can get. Probably not gonna get gold, but like just doing it every 2 years. I mean, I got a chance to do 4 trials a year, so might as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at that. Sooner or later, I'm just hoping to win one of them.
Throw a dart at the board and see where you land.
Exactly, and as long as you keep on getting closer every year, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting better and progressing.
Yeah.
So I know we talked about like your training that goes into this. What about diet and recovery? Like where?
Yeah, because I know you've had injuries like myself. Not to cut you off, but
Yeah,
you've had injuries like me. How are you handling that?
So, so with my knee injuries, left knee, I don't have an LCL. I don't have a PCL now.
Shit, we the same, bro.
Yeah, so LCL, completely different. Soccer injury, of all things. It was like right before 2020, just complete tear. Someone just like slide tackled me. My foot got caught into the grass and just popped.
Mm-hmm.
And then PCL happened probably like 6 months ago. Just got caught in a weird position. Same exact situation, just popped. So now my left leg, it's kind of wonky. But I mean, like if someone were to leg lock me, it doesn't quite hurt. Basically, yesterday that's what happened all in the quintet. Like the guy tried to leg lock me. Tried to go for Aokis the whole time. I hurt my foot, but I was like, okay, well, my foot's, if it pops, but my knee ain't there, so I don't got to worry about that. So I just kind of just bit the bullet and just rolled through on a lot of those.
Okay.
But yeah, injury and recovery. Honestly, I would say, I wish I could say I do like, surgery or rehab, but honestly, I take like an approach of doing absolutely nothing and hoping for the best. And it seems to be working out as of late. Option number 3.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Shout out Nicky Ryan. Thank you for the advice.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. Do rehab or surgery or nothing. So do that approach.
I take the rehab approach and kind of like progressively get better and fix your shit.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, I did that for my PCL.
But
8 weeks of rehab. But like probably should have taken a little bit more time than usual. All the people at Tempe Fullerton know like how stubborn I am. So by like week 6, I was already doing technique when I should have been not doing anything at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it is what it is.
The warrior spirit.
It's hard to keep me off the mats.
How old are you?
26 now.
That's what it
Yeah.
is. See, talk to me in a decade, bro.
See,
Talk to me in a decade.
I say that to all these people who are like 18. Man, if I wish I started this when I was younger. Everyone says that.
Yeah.
But one thing one of my teammates told me, it's like, imagine if you're 5 or 6 years old and then you've just done this your whole life, and then a decade later you're 16, 17, this is the only thing you know. Yeah, you're going to be good. Imagine if you burn out. Like, that's your whole life, and like, like whether you like it or not, your parents and you invested into this moment just to burn out. It's like going to the Olympics. You could be the best of the best, and just like once you're done, like, now what?
Yeah.
And that's like really the hard one. That I would say, it's like, I'm glad that I started at the age that I am. There's no too late of an age to start. But at the same time, like, everyone wishes they would start younger, but then you don't know where you would end up if you started younger. You may or may not even still do it now. Yeah.
You just want the vitality of the...
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. My biggest thing is not that I wish I started younger. I wish that I took my body and health, safety more importantly when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because like you, that's why I said talk to me in a decade. Like you, I was like, man, throw it to the wind. Let's go.
Exactly.
I'm tough. I may not be the strongest person out there. I may not be the bravest person out there, but when it comes down to it, I'm not afraid to fight. Like, if it's worth it, and if it's life or death, it's definitely worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Me personally, like, I got into jiu-jitsu when I was like 23, so I wasn't like too old. Mm-hmm. So for a while, I did feel like when everyone's like, I wake up and I'm cricky, I did not feel like that. I did not feel like that. I started feeling like that recently, and now that I'm closing in to like 29, 30 years old, like, I've noticed I'm healing slower. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of it is just, you just got to power through it. Like, people say, like, it's your youth and stuff. I'm like, nah, it's just really just determination to get where I need to be, and a lot of caffeine. But
no, I can respect that. For me, it's like, I think I'm more, my career path, I've decided it's going to be more of a Danaher career path. If I ever achieve greatness in the sport, it'll be because I'm a great coach, not because I achieve great things on the mat as far as competitively.
Honestly, that's good. If you're gonna make a career out of jiu-jitsu, like, competitors that's not the way to make money. Most average school on like any side, like any jiu-jitsu school, it's 9 times out of 10, unless if another pandemic happens, is a pretty safe bet to open, honestly.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So that's how I see it. It's really the competitors that don't make money. It's like, once you like have that, like, quote unquote passive income of just students just paying over a course of months and just having just an X amount of students, like, that's really where the money is in the sport, to like start a career out of it, versus trying to compete for, like, you may or may not win in $5,000. Not only the fact that you have to fly there and that's not covered, you're really like gambling on a lot of the times to call it a career.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, did you have something to say?
I was gonna say that's where you benefit being so close. Like, you're in LA,
exactly.
You're in Vegas, and like Vegas is right down the street, so you do have a benefit for it, but not everyone's in that position.
Exactly.
Yeah. I would say for me, it's just I don't have a PCL. I don't have an ACL in my left knee. I don't have a meniscus. My left knee is shattered for all intents and purposes from an old football injury.
Do you feel like, how does that affect your game?
It affects it to the degree of sometimes it slows me down. When, like, you want to make a movement and you can explode through to complete the movement, I have to take a second, like, to make sure that all my muscles are flexed, like all my, the muscles around my knee are flexed and ready to go. I'm ready to take that impact. I can't just go and my body instinctively do that or take that force.
Does it hurt, or does it feel just unstable?
It depends. It depends upon what is going on. When we're talking about like really deep leg locks and like heel hook shit, yeah, it hurts, and it's like, my knee is twisting, and it's sometimes, like, depending upon if I don't shift my knee a certain way, it'll hurt. I know, like, I'll have to tap just because it hurts. It's tweaked in the wrong way. But I have to, if I shift it first, it won't happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am, more or less, if I can shift it. But it's just like one of those, like, I guess the best way to explain people is, when you're walking on a slippery mat and then you try and push off of it. And that's like the best way to explain where my knee is right now, is it feels like it's good up until it's not, is the best way to explain it.
And you're not doing anything for recovery right now?
No, I was just like strengthening all my muscles around it for like PT and stuff like that. But
Okay.
now, not really. Yeah.
I'm gonna unsolicited advice you. Knees over toes. Ben Patrick, knees over toes. I've been doing his stuff. I feel like if it wasn't for doing stuff like that, I wouldn't be able to still do jiu-jitsu at my age with the injuries that I've had. Because this injury happened back in 2007.
Yeah.
So 2007, I didn't start jiu-jitsu until 2020, 2021. That's when I started martial arts in general. But actually signed up at a gym was 2021.
Yeah.
So that's a long time. And I was over 300 pounds, a lot of stress, and on the knee, I had to rebuild that to even get to be on the jiu-jitsu mat. So that's why I say I recommend it, because it's helped me through that process.
I know. I feel like one of my coaches right now, he's very big into biomechanics.
Okay.
So that's what he more or less he does. And both my coaches at 10th Planet, they give me a lot of shit for even down to like even how I sit down. So they try and like correct my posture. Like all the time, they'll even like pull on my shoulders just so I
Just to have them
that
back.
all the time. Yeah,
It's hard. Even now, I keep forgetting. Oh, I need to pull my shoulders back.
exactly. Yeah, because
You just reminded me.
jiu-jitsu is like you're having a bad posture is so great for jiu-jitsu. It's bad for you.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, so the first few episodes that came out, my family was like, fix your posture. And then like in jiu-jitsu, I noticed that I'm always like arching my back to like elongate people. So it turns to like, I'm sitting here.
Like every situation when you're playing guard, you're rounded. When you're like trying to pass guard, you're rounded. And it's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is why I don't really berimbolo. Like I broke my neck when I was 9 years old.
Oh, shit.
So I don't berimbolo as if I don't have to. I can do it. I can invert. Like I just
It's
stay
not
away from it.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Because the last thing I need is something like that to get hemmed up.
No, I feel like with bolos, you can roll on your head too, like on forehead. It's just really just moving from one shoulder to the other.
I'm a pass.
So I'm the opposite. I love to invert, berimbolo, all that. And the reason for it is whenever I first got into jiu-jitsu, like that was the
new meta, yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm watching all these highlights and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that. And everyone's like, you're a little big to do that. So after I got those comments, I was determined. No, I was determined.
Yeah. Did you guys ever play Tekken, the fighting game on like PlayStation?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've always liked Tekken more than Mortal Kombat because I feel like it was actual fighting as opposed to Mortal Kombat. There's all these powers and stuff. But anyways, there's this guy on Tekken. His name is Bob. He's like DJ size, but he moves like you. like he just spins. He can spin. He'll kick people in the face. He's a dope character. So I feel like you're like the real life Bob, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was rolling with Mike the other day, and he was shocked. It was a good time yesterday at Renzo's place at Renzo Gracie.
I went ahead to LA.
Yeah, so we went
Great
there to check out their open mat. And
Nice.
Yeah, because so I don't know if you watched the other podcast, but Michael Ross, I competed with him twice. He's beat me twice. We had him on, and so I want to get better. So I'm training with him. Like we're going to open mats together and just trying to build each other up. And know, he wants to learn things from me. I think that's what he said. Not to put words in his mouth, but I definitely want to learn things from him. So it's definitely, I feel like that's what's really cool about jiu-jitsu. We could be fighting each other, but then like, yo, I see something new and I want to get better, and like, let's get better together. You know?
Exactly.
We don't have to fight each other.
That's really what it is. It's just biggest small community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since so I know you're like heavy into competition, but do you think you'll ever make the transition to coaching yourself, or
Yeah.
I can tell you carry a lot of like knowledge.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, at some point, I would say probably like getting into my mid 30s around there. I would definitely look into that. Yeah, at some point, I'm probably thinking about opening my own school, but as of right now, I'm just trying to take things day by day is the best way to explain it. Compete while I can until I can't.
Exactly
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah, I've like straddled the fence on like if I want to like coach or compete, and like it's funny because I'll say I'm not competing, but as soon as the competition's getting close, I'm looking at my teammates super envious, like, oh man, like I'm so excited for you. So I miss it a lot. But like whenever you coach someone and they do really well, that's a great feeling.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
That's a great feeling. I love that.
I'm actually really jealous right now of our teammates. They're getting ready for JJ World League in the finals. The medals, the gold medal, like JJ World League, their medals.
Yeah.
Their medals are solid. They have the best fucking medals I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah,
in all of
100%.
jiu-jitsu.
I know.
What?
It is, I have one. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
No, the gold. I want a gold one from JJ World League because they're so dope.
But they're
so
huge.
Bad.
They're
so huge. And like I'm not even like a fucking materialistic person. Like it's just like you just feel like you won something.
Yeah,
You
no,
get
they
that from
definitely.
JJ
I
World
definitely enjoy like JJ World League as like a organization.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they were bigger. Honestly, like they're only on the West Coast. They should. I feel like personally, they should expand to the East Coast because, I may be completely wrong, but I think Naga may be also on the East Coast, right?
I'm not sure.
I think they recently were doing some. I don't know how like established they are out there, but I know there was like a Naga in like North Carolina recently or something.
Okay.
I also know that there was recently, I think, a New Hampshire JJ World League. So they are like expanding through like the coast. I think like even cooler is globally. There's like if you go on the rankings and everything, you can go globally and then West Coast wise and East Coast wise. So you separate the coast.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because I remember like seeing it with like go from like West Coast like up like all the way up to Oregon, but all the way to Texas, and I just didn't see anything past that.
Okay.
They should get bigger, like IBJJF, especially like with like you don't need a profile and you don't need to pay for an ID and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then they upload all their matches for you. So you can go back and watch your own matches if you can't go back and study some competitors.
Exactly. And then like the fact that you have to have a Flow Grappling account if you're going to watch any IBJJF event. And
yeah.
Oh, what?
Free. Yeah. You have to, they stream everything through Flow. So
It's crazy.
Get through the paywall.
Yo, they got to get their money. You know, look, you grew up in Brazil. You know it's rough out there.
Yeah.
And if they found a way to make some money, respect. That's how I look at it.
For sure. I get it. I don't know. I just feel like Flow is a monopoly. And I feel like there has to be something out there that's just like, that has to be just on that level with them. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I wish. Go ahead.
It'll come as the sport grows. Like I feel like it just made its like introduction to the like fight entertainment world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Gordon Ryan. Yeah, he's the catalyst.
And also, like one champion is doing a lot of just jiu-jitsu specific matches. Have you seen any Mikey Zusamechi?
No, I love like the setup that they do, especially with the fact that it's not just all MMA events. So under like a card, you got jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, you got kickboxing, MMA. I love the fact that there's like, because sometimes, I'm not going to lie, sometimes when I watch UFC events, I get burnt out.
Same.
Yeah, especially like the early part of the main card where, you know, people aren't taking risks because they're just trying to win regardless. Like no one knows how you win, you just got to win.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just nice to have those breaks with like jiu-jitsu breaking it up or something like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's what I really like about them. Plus, I like what their organization stands for. I don't know if you've listened to Sean Tree and him talk about being a martial artist and how he wants the organization to have martial artists, not entertainers, so to say. Like, yeah, we want you to be entertained.
You can be entertained, but not by, like, you want to be entertained by the sport itself, not quite like the McGregors of the world.
Correct. Yeah. Yes, exactly. He wants to, if you're going to be entertaining, do it through your martial arts. And that's what I like about that organization and what I feel like they're trying to push. If that makes sense.
No, I like that. I definitely do.
From a jiu-jitsu standpoint, they got their guy with Mikey. I feel like Mikey knows everything.
I like Mikey, but I wish like he was bigger.
Yeah. No, I agree. Even if we're playing in like ADCC for 66 kilos, I would still say he's at least like 10 pounds under what he's supposed to be. He's like, you remember that match with Gabriel Souza?
I didn't see it.
Oh, it was the one where he got north-south.
Okay.
North-south choked. Like, there was a clear weight discrepancy, even though they were quote-unquote the same weight. Like, you can tell, like, Mikey just decided to just not diet, and then Gabriel was, like, cutting definitely, like, 15 pounds. Okay. Yeah, so that I would feel like that's, like, the biggest issue. I was, like, excited to watch him at ADCC up until he had that appendix situation. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I think he would have done good. I just don't think he would have made it to the finals, unfortunately. I just think he's too small, and it's just... Yeah. Like, no matter how good your technique is, there comes a certain point where it's just like, guy is stronger than you, unfortunately. Yeah.
I agree. And I think he would be bigger if he was bigger. Like, and I don't mean like juice. I mean like if he was born like my size, so to say, like, or DJ size,
or at least like 170.
Yeah, I think he would be giving the whole jiu-jitsu world a real fucking problem.
He knows everything. Like every like clip I've seen him in, he's like very articulate and he knows what he's telling you.
Yes.
And then on top of that, he could not only tell you, you can put it to use. Like I don't think I've seen anyone submit people in different ways like he does.
Yeah.
Like chokes, leg locks, arm bars from different positions, different like he's a smooth dude, man.
Yeah, he's just very good at especially Nogi now. He's very good at understanding what are like the options that like basically with the dilemmas you create, what options they give you. Like for example, once he like sweeps someone, depending if they're facing towards him or away, he has an option of like standing up, sweeping, or like going for a leg lock. But as they turn away, that basically takes away the standing up and pass situation, but then that gives the leg lock and back take situation. So he just keeps on just chaining dilemmas, and it's just that's what he's very good at. Yeah.
So are we saying before Mikey makes a run at ADCC, he needs to get on the juice?
No, I'm not.
Wouldn't not hurt.
How do you feel about that? Do you think he should do it? Do you think he's that like?
I think if he feel like it's like obviously his technique is on point. I just like one of the matches that I do remember was him and Diego Pato at I think it was Gi Worlds.
Okay.
And like Pato was coming down, he was coming up. Mikey ended up winning by a footlock, but you could definitely tell like the fact that Mikey was just holding on to that footlock for probably like 3 or 4 minutes before he got the finish. It would have probably been different if they were actually the same size.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just one of those. It definitely doesn't hurt to be bigger, especially when you're like cutting down and weight and stuff like that. But yeah, I like obviously skill helps, but it's just there just basically comes a point, especially like with ADCC when there's roughly 25 pounds per division.
Yeah. Of
like difference. Yeah, it really makes a big difference at that point because you got people making 45 who's cutting from like 65. Damn. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Like Ethan Crownston. That's a perfect example. Someone cutting from 65 to 45.
That was a big cut too.
Yeah.
Man, I saw I was looking at JJ Worley because I was just curious where I ranked at. And I saw one guy who was all the way up in like the 208, number one guy. 208 all the way down to 162. I was like, damn, bro, what do you do? You must be a wrestler. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's definitely, he knows that they weigh in the mornings. And honestly, probably like a little bit of my diet for cutting. Long story short, start cutting carbs like 2 weeks prior. Then I started cutting sodium in general, like 36 hours prior, but then I do like hard water loading. Okay. And then that's when I'm cutting from like, I think the worst one was like last year at Nogi Worlds, and I got injured like a month before Nogi Worlds. So I took 2 weeks off. Then when I got back on, since I wasn't training, I was like, damn, I'm 152, 153. And it was probably like 10, at that point it was like 10 days before Nogi Worlds. And I cut from 52 to 35 in like 10 days. And that was rough. I remember everyone looking at me. I was dying. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, that sounds like really great.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I remember.
I've never had to cut, but I can only imagine. Like I see you guys like from across the gym, and I'm like, I feel bad.
Oh yeah, it was. I remember I was rolling with some guy. Actually, one of my favorite training partners, JaySin. And I remember I was fine. I was 100% fine, and I was like looking to pass his guard, and then I just started tearing up in the middle of it. And it was really just because my hormones are so out of whack that I just started crying just out of nowhere. But I was just fine. It's just emotionally just wasn't there. And it was the dumbest thing. I was like, he was asking me like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't even know. I'm fine. Like nothing's going on right now. I just feel sad for some weird reason."
Weight cuts are rough, bro. They're rough.
Can't do it.
I kind of do that. I kind of do the same thing you do as far as cutting. I do it more of a month out just because. Yeah. I say I'm gonna do it a month out. It ends up being 2 weeks because it's like 2 weeks of like prep to like mentally get my mental like, all right, this is what we're
Oh,
doing.
yeah, I know.
We're
It's like,
doing this.
Diets always start
Here
tomorrow.
we are. So, no, like it's a month for me. If a solid month, it happens that month out. Like I will not fail on that month. Go.
He just called me out. I said that last night. Diet starts tomorrow.
Oh, I can't believe how often I say that.
That's funny. My bad.
No, go, no.
Well, no, that was all I had to say. Is I was laughing because I was like, he just called me out.
Diets. Speaking of diets, man, is it starting tomorrow or did it start today?
It started today.
Okay.
I'm fasting pretty much in the morning until around 3.
Okay.
I'm making sure to get my gallon in. I'm eating high protein and
Gallon of water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, gallon of water. I'm eating high protein and veggies. I'm not doing it like cold turkey today, but I want to cut back on carbs. I don't want to cut them out completely, but definitely want to cut back.
Yeah.
In terms of like the working out, getting ready for tournaments next year, I've already been on that for about a week now.
Yeah, I'd say one little thing that does help that definitely like I kind of play the like take more drastic approaches as it gets closer to see where my weight is at, because sometimes my weight will like I'll drop 3 pounds if I just cut fiber out of my diet, which isn't too bad, but it's like one of those just understanding you're just trying to time things in a weight cut to where everything just comes perfect on that day. Because remember, you're only that weight for like 10 minutes, if that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think at this point, because the weight, I think they should probably readjust the weight thing because people are getting a lot heavier in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So 225 and up is kind of outrageous.
Yeah.
But because I'm so far away from that, like right now I'm like 290.
Yeah.
Or actually I'm like 300, but I'm so far away from that I'm not worried about getting under it. I'm just worried about starting to drop weight, build a healthy habit and keep it off while working on jiu-jitsu so I can maintain it.
And that's where I'm at too. Go ahead.
No, I'm not.
I'll say that's where I'm at too, and that's like why another reason I've mentioned not competing, because it's my birthday in December. I want one of those medals. It's also I need to mentally be able to I got to figure out how to stay that course. I know I can do it. How do I do it while chasing jiu-jitsu without even chasing that goal? Because there's a why at the end of the tunnel for me.
Yeah. No, I'd say only focus on like one tournament at a time, honestly. Mm-hmm. That was like the biggest thing one of my coaches told me, because I used to just sign up for anything. But if you're just signing up with just a goal of just to do it, you're not really focused on every turn. I mean, yeah, you can get like time on the mats and stuff like that. But yeah, you start to care less about the tournaments that matter, and it starts getting like kind of blurry on what matters and what doesn't matter. It's the best way to explain it. Like even with the quintet yesterday, this was like super last second. I was just focused on LG Worlds. Like basically Eddie gave the phone call of like, hey, we're doing a quintet.
Wait, real quick. What is a quintet? Like,
so it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little like cool tournament. Long story short, it's 5 people. It's the name quintet. They have to all together. You have to be under a certain weight. Okay. So let's say for this one it was like 825.
Okay.
So all of us together has to be under 825 pounds, and then you put your people in whatever order you want, but you just have to stick with that order.
Okay.
So you could be like me, for example. I was the smallest person on our team, and for HQ I went up against the biggest guy. Okay. So so that was fun.
That's okay. How do you handle that, like competing as a smaller guy against a bigger guy? I know when we roll, I like how you still have a very solid control and you're still very fluid.
So with this one, the strategy. So a part of the strategy is so if you sub someone, you still stay in and they go out. Okay. So if you could sub everyone, that's great. You can take out a whole team. Okay. But if you two don't sub each other, since it's sub only, then if you two tie, then you both go out. So the whole plan is that if you can just stay one ahead of the person, you can stall out the rest of the matches. Okay. So basically what happened was we ended up taking people out, and I was the 4th guy against the last guy, and generally the strategy is the first and the last guy is going to be the biggest. You kind of want those people as your anchors, hoping that either one will take everyone out or one will take the last few people out. So yeah, that's kind of the strategy. So that's kind of what we did. That's kind of roughly how everyone else did. So drawing like the short straw. I ended up going against their biggest guy, which I'm not sure if thankfully or not, but long story short, he was a heavy leg locker. Felt that like a couple minutes in, couldn't pass my guard for like the first couple minutes, and so it just ended up being like a leg lock battle, more or less. And then basically it just ended up being a tie, and then so we took out HQ's team, and then we went up against Riverside, and one of our anchors, just basically took out their team.
Oh, dope,
so yeah, it was pretty chill. But yeah, it was pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie.
How much did the guy weigh that you went against?
Oh, definitely at least 200.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like he was like a lanky guy, but he was like, he had a lot of, it's kind of like built like Landon.
I was just gonna say that. Okay.
Yeah, this is the best way to explain it. Just a Landon type.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much do you weigh?
Right at that time, I was 133.
133. So at least 70-pound difference.
Yeah,
it's a lot of weight to give up, bro.
Yeah, and it was weird. I thought it was gonna be stronger. He didn't really play a lot of grip fighting. I mean, he did it like. I mean, I was sitting on like one of his butterfly hooks, and he was able to like overhead elevate me. So he was pretty damn strong in that regard. But I was expecting it to be, not being able to get my arm back after a 2-on-1 beam. But he didn't really play a lot of grip fighting. He was just looking for my legs, and I was like, okay, just defend the legs, look for my entries, look for counter leg locks, and yeah, just ended up in a stalemate playing leg locks. Yeah, okay. Which I'm not too fond of playing leg locks, but. As like if we're gonna stay in the pocket, just might as well.
But yeah,
that was his game plan all along. So I just stayed there.
Okay, yeah. Do you experience any fear when you go against bigger opponents? Like I said, giving up 70 pounds a lot. Do you experience any fear with that or anxiety?
No. I would say no. I would say that actually the biggest issue, the biggest issues I have to deal with are people who are like. That 160, 170 range where athleticism and strength kind of run into each other.
Okay.
Like passing my guard, I would probably say the easiest way to do it would probably start going north-south. And yeah, once you start like breaking my knee-elbow connections, that's where things get kind of rough. Not really pressure passing is like the biggest issue, but yeah, north-south for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just hard angle changes, and then if you can just start putting weight down on those hard angle changes, that's where things fall apart.
Do you hear this man? This man's a warrior, bro. He just giving out the game plan to pass his guard just to the world right here.
Hey, I respect it, and like so as a bigger dude, like I run into a lot of people who don't want to roll with me.
Yeah. I feel you on that.
And like I like that he's like I'll roll because in reality I don't like rolling with smaller dudes, bro. I like that's a chase that is exhausting. I'm sorry, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, people don't think about it. Jiu-jitsu has a lot to do with spacing. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're so much smaller than me. It's hard to close that space. So I can never really get you to a point where you're pinned down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a two-way street. Like I think my game progressed the most because of people who were in that 170 to like that 140 to 170 range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I feel like the hardest part for me with people that are smaller than me is like dialing down my strength to like match theirs. In those, especially, it's not hard in the, like, you're not in the ropes, but when you're in that, like, that chess match, like, is he going to be me? Am I going to be him? I got to remember, hey, I can't bring my knee all the way to my, like, if I'm on bottom side control trying to escape, I can't bring my knee as hard as I can to my elbow, because if I do that, I might, knee him or elbow. I can't, like, when I go pull guard, I can't push my foot as far as as hard as I want to, because I might kick him as hard as I can. So what I'm trying to say is in those moments I have to like dial back that strength and be like, shit, how do I handle this without hurting my training partner?
Honestly, I also feel like it's like on the onus of the smaller person too. Like obviously it's going to be easy to bench people who are smaller than you, and it happens, but like I also feel like as a smaller person you have to know how to like angle yourself to where that doesn't happen. I feel like it's a two-way street. Like you're gonna have people who are like whites, blues, even purples. Like honestly, if like things are falling apart, someone's gonna use their strength against you, like regardless. Like if you're dominating them and that's the last thing they got, they're gonna bridge you off, and you got to know how to deal with that. So I think it's like a two-way street in that regard. You can't just tell people to like, oh, like don't bench me off because you're stronger than me. It's like what? So it's like So if someone's 140 and the other person's 150, is that still the same? Like, where do we draw a line?
Yeah,
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about that in the second episode or the first episode, and I was like, "You're gonna use your speed against me." So
Exactly.
it's
And I'm 100% going to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
I'm going to run around you. Like, why would I go through a mountain if I can just walk around? It's just one of those. It's
Okay.
like, yeah. It's like, what? Is that just... Strength is a technique, 100%. And it's just like, how you use your strength efficiently is really what it comes down to in jiu-jitsu. Like, jiu-jitsu is one of those only sports where this is the first time I've ever heard... Like, you never hear in wrestling or judo... People go like, oh, don't use your strength. You got to use technique. Is there a time that you don't see like a wrestler or a judokan in the weight room? It's like the only time I hear it is in jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, nah.
my man
Shouldn't be-
spitting.
It's good, man. I say this, I think, as a whole, jiu-jitsu practitioners are lazy. Just because you can beat somebody up on the ground. It's easier to do it than get up and stand or like fight on or striking. So, it's my hope that people in the future will look at jiu-jitsu as a self-defense, as all-around martial arts.
Yeah.
I think jiu-jitsu is MMA. I think it's MMA because it pulls from all facets of martial arts. As far as its structure, from the standing, from even, a lot of the arm locks and things like
Even
that.
with basic principles of like, with striking, like obviously you don't want someone to touch your head. It's not a good thing someone touching your head in jiu-jitsu. It's like... Yeah, if someone's touching your head in jiu-jitsu, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I know we're kind of getting close to
Yeah,
your
we're going to
time.
wrap
Yeah.
up. Go ahead.
But I have like one more thing I have to ask you. For new competitors that are nervous about getting in, I know you've given us a lot of advice, but what would you say is the best advice that you can give someone who's thinking about taking that leap into competing?
I would say if it's your first competition, don't worry about even now, don't worry about the results. It's just, these are just breadcrumbs on your journey. But first one in general, like, don't sweat it. Just do it, but also prepare yourself. Like, don't walk into there thinking that, like, if you're training once or twice a week, like, don't just jump into a competition thinking that you're going to be okay, because chances are probably not.
Yeah.
No.
I would say at least prepare is the best way to explain it. Don't just go into something thinking that you're just going to do it just to do it. At least do it with the intention of winning, even though the result may not be the one you wanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is gonna be my last question, and I want to find out what you have planned for the future. Because I want to hear about all your competitions coming up. So what would you say, before that though, here's my question, is touching on what you just, with DJJS, what would you say to someone, let's just say like myself, who's been in jiu-jitsu as a blue belt for a while, maybe they competed a few times, maybe they don't have a desire to become the next Gordon Ryan, but they also want to try ADCC. They want to, try for Worlds, as IBJJF, What would you give them advice?
I would say the same thing. Just do it, but also prepare yourself. Like, prepare yourself to do your best.
Okay.
Is really what it is. Know your game plan, know the rules. Really study the rules, because ADCC and IBJJF can be ever so more different. They're very different.
Yeah.
And understanding what techniques work with the rule set given. Like, just quick example, ADCC, essentially you can only get passing points if they just give up on not trying to not get past.
Okay.
So if they are turtling, that is not points. So being good at your turtle defense and getting out of like back take situation, front headlock situation should be like a number one thing in ADCC, while it's not as important in IBJJF, because there are just advantages in situations like that rather than giving up points.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Don't worry about that. We'll keep going.
Yeah.
I got another camera rolling.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, so that's gonna wrap up our show. Real quick, I just want to ask you about any of your goals coming into the end of the year, what you were looking at the top of 2024, and what you're looking to succeed in, your plans, bro.
Honestly, I just like competing, just like having fun. Last thing to wrap up the year is Nogi Worlds. After that, I'm waiting to see when they're going to announce South American trials. Definitely doing that. It should be in the beginning of the year, but they haven't said anything.
Okay.
March is ADCC West Coast trials, so definitely looking at that. after that. Probably, or I think Worlds will be in June for gi, so I'll do gi Worlds. But yeah, that's the only thing that's like next 6 months. Yeah,
Worlds.
yeah,
Respect.
Worlds. Yeah,
I'm hoping I can get out there and film it.
I should be in the pyramid this year, so
Dope.
for Worlds, so that should be fun.
I'll definitely be out there to film that.
Awesome.
But actually, if I need to compete in Worlds, whatever. We got to wrap up. Thank you guys for tapping in today. Please do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, and DJ. Any notes, questions, anything you want to say?
Same thing as last time. Y'all trying to catch a roll in Southern California? Leave a comment or something.
A side. That's right.
You can follow me at _callmet. You can use my Future Kimonos code for 15% off. Reyna15, REYNA15.
Get it. Get it. Future Kimonos. 50% off, you said?
15.
15. Okay. Well,
I was like, wait a
I was
second.
about to jump on. That's why I said, I was about to jump on that right now.
I'll take 15 though. Future Kimonos, I like their shit. They got some good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Fits really well.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for tapping in. Peace.